The world of Star Wars pre-Disney was filled with creatures dragged up from the darkest parts of man's imagination. Creatures such as the marauding Yuuhzan Vong, or zombified stormtroopers. But you'd probably assume that now the world of Star Wars is in the possession of the family-friendly House of Mouse, they'd do away with all the creepy stuff. Wouldn't it might surprise you that Disney has been allowing more and more eerie and chilling things to crawl out of the pages of nightmares and into this galaxy far, far away. So join us today, friends, for 5 of the creepiest things within the realms of Star Wars canon. 5. Summa Verminoth. These giant Cthulhu-looking space squids are regarded by many spacefarers as the galaxy's greatest predator, measuring at a whopping 4.618 miles long. These tentacled terrors reside in some of the most hazardous pockets of space, laying in wait ready to trap unfortunate passing ships and other prey with their electrified stingers and multiple powerful tentacles. There was also a separate unidentified subspecies of the Summa Verminoth, residing in the Red Honeycomb Zone, a section of the chaotic web of space anomalies known as the Galactic Barrier that prevented travel to the unknown regions. This particular being had just a single large eye and developed the ability to perform psychic attacks on its prey, a skill that allowed it to hunt down and cannibalize its own kind. Despite the monstrous size and psychic powers, this creature is getting knocked down our list due to a particularly embarrassing demise of one of these creatures when it came face to face with Lord Vader. Upon meeting the Sith Lord, not only was this creature not strong enough to defeat him, the space squid was essentially tamed, allowing Vader to ride it into battle against Emperor Palpatine on Exegol. And this is where the humiliation was only furthered, as Palpatine reached out with the Force and made the creature crush itself with its own tentacles. 4. The Mindflayer. A device of ominous reputation but rather little lore. The Mindflayer was a device used by the Empire to torture and interrogate rebels. In The Mandalorian Season 3, we see the 602 Mitigator, a toned-down version of the Mindflayer utilized by the New Republic. And despite its use by the supposedly more virtuous New Republic, it's no less horrific. Used to rewrite the minds of ex-Imperial agents in an effort to overcome Empire propaganda, by zapping the subject's brain with electricity to induce hallucinations and recalibrate their mind. No matter how they dress it up, however, the New Republic are still forcefully altering an individual's mind and personality to better suit them. It is also likely that the Empire's initial Mindflayer is an advanced technological form of a previous interrogation technique that seemed much more nightmarish. You see, the Empire was once in possession of a number of semi-sentient aliens, known as the Myran, and these creatures would be made to wrap their tentacles around a prisoner and delve into their minds, forcing the prisoner to relive traumatic memories in an attempt to get them to do as the Empire wished. And what's worse is that these creatures could also be made to delete or even rewrite a prisoner's memory, completely altering their entire being. A terrible power in the hands of the Empire. 3. The Nameless. Our next entry takes us back to the time of the High Republic, when the mighty Jedi Order was engaged in a bitter war against a group of marauders known as the Nihil. And the Nihil's secret weapon in this conflict was a group of alien creatures known as the Nameless, reaching sizes that towered above the average human, with razor-sharp claws on each foot and blade-like teeth lining their mouths. These creatures were a ferocious sight, and again, this was another creature with long, fleshy tentacles protruding from them. I'm starting to wonder if someone at Lucasfilms has a thing for tentacles. But what truly makes these creatures terrifying is their insatiable hunger for the Force, leading them to seek out and devour Jedi as a source of food. As they prowl closer towards the Jedi, the Nameless begin to drain the Jedi of their vitality, causing them to visibly age. The Jedi senses are then overwhelmed with nightmarish hallucinations unique to each individual's darkest fears. They then begin to feel like they are falling into an empty void, as the creature severs their connection to the Force and drains their body of midichlorians. The Jedi's body will then begin to petrify, leaving them as a hollow, grey, lifeless husk, with their face left in a permanent, terror-stricken scream. 2. The Decraniated. And now for a bit of galactic body horror. courtesy of everyone's favourite starfaring serial killer, Dr. Cornelius Evazan, and his unwilling cyberslaves, the Decraniated. These walking tables were once innocent citizens of the Empire, until the self-declared tech flesh artist Dr. Evazan kidnapped them off the streets for his cruel experiments. As part of these experiments, Evazan began rooting around in the victims' skulls, transforming them with cybernetic technology to strip them of their identities and make them even more subservient than androids. These slaves would then be sold off on the galactic black market into a life of unwilling servitude to individuals too cruel and sadistic to just use droids instead. What's worse is, despite having much of their cranium removed, some of these decraniated seem to maintain some degree of self-awareness, so it's likely that these poor souls are fully aware of what's happening to them, but unable to do anything about it. Who'd have thought that Star Wars would copy the servitors of all things from Warhammer 40k? 1. Drengir. Emerging from the wild space planet of Melita during the time of the High Republic, the Drengir was a collected consciousness of sentient carnivorous plants, born of hatred and pain. When they awoke from a centuries-long slumber, the great progenitor and its spores located throughout the galaxy were filled with an insatiable hunger for meat, and it spurred them on to an intergalactic harvest where they invaded Republic worlds to reap the life forms dwelling there, capturing their prey by spreading their vines into the nose and mouth of their victims, then consuming them alive. When first invading a settlement, the Drengir begin by setting up a den and causing the nearby crops and food sources to wither. The local children then begin to go missing, as they are abducted by the Drengir and drained of their vitality. And once the locals are weakened and demoralized, the ferocious fighting forms of the Drengir descend on them and feast. These feisty flora are also incredibly tough to kill, not only capable of regenerating from even lightsaber slashes. They can also multiply when cut in two, extrapolating their number near indefinitely, and they possess some form of connection to the dark side of the Force, allowing them to corrupt and infest the minds and bodies of the very Jedi sent to fight them. Which of these were you least expecting to crop up in Star Wars? Was there anything I missed that should have made the list? Make sure to let me know down in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to Lore Tours and get your passport to your favourite fictional worlds. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.